Satan is designing your room in hell. What's one thing that you know he's putting in your room? 1 mosquito. To be replaced once I finally find and kill it. A movie of all the lives I could have had but did not because I'm too afraid, anxious and sad. A huge 72 inches TV that's constantly scrolling and reading out loud in that female American robot voice all our askreddit posts. Nice try, Satan. A really sexy looking guy who's intelligent and really into having his way with me. Carrot, did Satan believe me? A blanket that's almost square, so I can never tell if it is going the right way. It also is too small in either direction, so that my feet and my shoulders can never be covered at the same time. A ceiling fan that makes noises but it'll be too hot to turn off.
What should people avoid while traveling to Europe? Don't rent a car if you're going to stay at a major capital. It's not worth it. It's much better to use public transport and get an occasional Uber. Street scammers in Paris, anywhere really. I just mostly see it in Paris. I'd avoid Ukraine at the moment. Be respectful to memorial places. Don't come to the idea to make selfies or similar. Inform yourself about the traditions of the country. In some countries, you can openly make small talk with strangers, while in another one, you don't have to approach them like a wild animal. Restaurants in touristy areas that have signs out front with pictures of the meals and the price featured prominently. Falling in canals and walking on bicycle paths if they come to the Netherlands. Insinuating that Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland and possibly some parts of Cornwall are in England. Doesn't go down too well. I'd avoid social media and watching TV in the month before your trip and spend that time on Duolingo instead. Not sure where exactly you're going in Europe, but it'll help you to know a couple of phrases in the language. Lol, top of the list. Creepy dudes outside airports trying to split cabs. Tears of joy unless your dad's Liam Neeson. Assume that European countries are the same. Walk around loudly exclaiming how cute and quaint things are. Be extremely loud. Talk loudly about how much everything costs in dollars and say it's cheap. It may not be for those around you.
What screams, I'm an ex-military. Being divorced before 25. Maybe kinda specific, but my dad was in the Navy for 30 years. Once my mum bought those little fountains like for ambience noise and put it in the living room. My dad hated it because he couldn't stand the sound of it. He said that if he was indoors and could hear water flowing, that wasn't a good thing. He was in charge of control failure in ships. A lot of his friends said they felt the same way. Forrest Gump posture, incredible bed-making skill. Sand never sits with their back towards the door. V6 Mustang with a 30% APR interest rate. USAA. Telling someone at 8:57 a.m., you're late, for a 9 a.m. meeting. I did 23 years. The only thing that gives me away is my affinity for cargo shorts. I've noticed two options for people that have went overseas to fight. I've met either A. Within 10 minutes of meeting them they've told you which war they were in, the horrors they saw, the people they killed, et cor B. You know them casually for months or years and never know that they were even in the military, until someone else tells you. Really correct posture, stance and up sleep schedules. Quickly throw in sir, ma'am with a handshake. Several of my relatives of both gender shave served in various branches and these are the similarities they all seem to carry, along with a number of friends and coworkers of mine as well. When you ask for a veteran discount at the barbershop.
What job is useless? I'm an aviation meteorologist at a location without planes. Bathroom attendants. I don't need somebody in the room pulling paper towels out the dispenser just to hand it to me and compel me to tip them. Influencers. Paparazzi. Turning light installer on BMW vehicles. Check it out. Last year I had to go to India to visit a customer at a government facility. They had a lot of problems with little monkeys getting into the building. The solution? Hire a guy with a big monkey on a lead to scare away the little monkeys. Actually, Chief Monkey Scarer sounds like an awesome job. Imagine the business cards. At my local DMV, there's still a guy who's sold Jobies to scan paperwork $0.55K a year for scanning papers.
What are people's honest first thoughts when you see someone with face tattoos? That they've been in prison. I convinced a judge to let me use foundation on a male client to cover facet tattoos because the stigma is so prevalent. I used to think, unemployable. Then we had a prospective employee come in for an interview who had a neck and a facial tattoo. He had been in a gang and got the neck tattoo when his son was born, and the face tattoo as part of being in the gang. That was one of our longest interviews. We heard his whole life story. It was amazing. From how he raised, getting into the gang, getting out of the gang, having his son. Now he was looking for a career and we were a place he applied to. We just loved him, hired him on the spot. We do a ride along for every new hire. After a day on the job with the trainer, he felt overwhelmed by the job and didn't take it. But he left an impression on us. I wonder why they got that. I was in a doctor's waiting room where a very chatty, very perky 70-plus woman was chatting up everyone in sight. She was waiting for her grandson to come pick her up to take her home. In walks a guy who looked like Post Malone but with 5 times the face tattoos and a whole lot of piercings. He walks up to the grandma, gently takes her arm and escorts her out of the building. She absolutely beamed at him and waved to everyone on her way out. Since then, I try not to jump to a judgment. Ultimately their decision, but definitely not a decision I would have made. You've made an early decision to eliminate a fair number of career paths. Depends. For example, if they're Maori or from certain other cultures, it's a meaningful symbol.
What celebrity, be it a musician, actor, athlete, etc., did you stop liking or supporting BC of their personal life choices? Chris Brown, because he is an abuser. I hate that people forget or ignore that fact. Well, Bill Cosby for one. Nicki Minaj. I was a huge fan, a bit of a Barb truly, until she started collabing with 6ix9ine, defended her brother and married a rapist. There's something odd there to be in connect with multiple predators, LMAO. Chris Brown. I had the biggest crush on him as opera teenager. I grew up not too far from his hometown, so it was really cool to see someone from the area gain massive success. But between the domestic violence with Rihanna and Karrueche Tran, I'm done. As a woman, I can't continue to support. I was offered a free ticket to a concert of his a few years ago, and I turned it down. Ian Watkins. Lost Prophets. Grew up listening to their music and built memories while listening to them. Still remember the class one was in when someone said, "Yo, have you heard about Ian Watkins and Lost Prophets?" All the Scientologists, Tom Cruise most of all. Kevin Spacey. I love his acting, but there was a reason he kept his personal life secret. I think they are only allegations of sexual assault. People I know who are in the industry say he's worse. I wish it wasn't so. Danny Masterson. Loved that 70s show and the Rancho was in. Now I can't enjoy either without feeling bad about it. Morrissey. Loved his solo stuff and the Smiths, but struggled to separate the music from that absolute plum of a man. R. Kelly. Before the accusations against him, I thought he was a gifted musician with a great voice. I could never listen to his music again. Drake. He is a whiny man-child when things don't go his way who grooms underage girls. He is like the Matt Gaetz of the hip-hop, rap. Kanye West. His mom dying sent him on a road to ruin.
Former actors at Disney parks. What's the weirdest thing that happened to you while you were in character? Not a cast member, but either Mickey or Minnie cut Avery audible fart while posing with my wife and me. It must have been awful inside that Dutch oven of a costume. I used to be Tinker Bell. The understudy lol. I couldn't do it full time. Weirdest thing is the dads low-key hitting on you. Kids are kids, they do weird hit but don't mean it. The adults know they're being weird but for some reason just don't care. Like don't talk about my looks in front of kids or try to cop a feel. It's cringe. It happened so often that we had guards, watchers all over the place just in case someone got handsy, and it happened too many times to count upside down face. I used to work at a different amusement park that featured similar costumed characters. The worst thing I ever heard was the time one of the characters was overcome by heat in 95-degree weather, and vomited inside the suit, splattering the inside of the suit's head with their half-digested lunch. They had to walk a long distance back to the dressing rooms, breathing the superheated vomit air the entire way. I dated a girl that played one of the fairies' fourth Tinkerbell plays. Beyond the pretty much daily occurrence of old dads hitting on her, she was 19 at the time. The weirdest thing to happen to her was a woman with a 4-year-old little girl was all excited to get a picture with Tinkerbell, who was busy. So my ex volunteered to do pictures and entertain the little girl while they waited. The woman was a-itch about that idea, rudely saying she was here to see Tinkerbell and not off-brand fairies. So just shrugging it off, my ex moved on. A bit later, she hears a commotion and Tinkerbell is obviously upset, and security shows up. Apparently, this woman was Tinkerbell's bio mom and had taken her granddaughter to Disney, just to violate the restraining order against her. Disney jail is a real place. Dated an actress, the weirdest she had was a man asking for him to be in the suit for an hour. He offered her $3,000,